Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am out on the range finally. Weather is finally cooperated on a day that I have off, so it's lovely to get out here. First off, we're going to talk about my Glock 34 build. You can see it's empty, nothing. All clear, no magazine, good to go. Safe direction, trigger pull, good. All right. So now that she's all safe, we can talk and handle her however we want. So what we have here is a Glock 34 that I did some custom work to, and I had some custom work done to it. It was a standard Glock 34 through a Streamlight TLR1S. So it's got the strobe, and then I sent the slide off to Jaeger Works, and I had them do what they call their race cut. I believe it's called the race cut. It's where they remove the rear sight and they mill for the RMR. And then that's the factory cutout. And then I had a nose job done on it as well, just to clip the nose, give it a little bit different look. Nothing too fancy, just a RMR cut and a nose job. And then on Patreon, I did a video where I show the framework that I did. On the frame, I removed the finger grooves, I cut it down to a Glock 19, and I did a stipple job on it. Now, let's stop right there and let's talk about the obvious stuff. Number one, cutting down a gun. Everyone was wild and crazy about the Glock 19X, which is a 19 length with a 17 length grip. And to me, that's exact opposite of what it should be. You need a longer slide, which would give you a greater sight radius, a little bit more accuracy, a little bit more velocity. It's going to give you the most out of a 9mm handgun. And then you want a shorter grip for concealability. This part here is generally not hard to conceal. It's this part here that is. So the 19X, everyone was wild about it, and I didn't really understand it. It shoots good. It's a fun gun to shoot, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of the opposite of what I was thinking. Now, years ago, I built a 17 MOS when they first came out, and I chopped the grip then, and I made a 19 or a 17 MOS long, or whatever the hell they call them, a 19 long, I don't know. Anyway, and it was a great carry gun. I carried that gun for a couple of years. I shot the living piss out of it. At the time, ammo was cheap. Work was going good for me. I was putting about 200 rounds every weekend, and it was just great. Shot like a dream. Loved the gun. Decided I wanted to try something else and ended up selling it off. So, long story getting longer. I like the shorter grip with the longer slide. Damn bee buzzing around. Now, I said longer sight radius, but as you can tell, this gun has no sights. So before everyone freaks out and they're like, oh my God, you're gonna die. You don't got no backup sights on your gun. How are you gonna shoot? What happens if your RMR dies? Well, if my RMR dies, I'm in a lot of trouble because it uses the solar power from the fiber optic, and it has tritium. So if either the fiber optic goes out, that means there's no sun. If the tritium goes out, that means it's not dark or the tritium's worn out. And I will notice the tritium wearing out before it gets all the way dark, and I'll send it and have the tritium replaced. So there's no battery to go bad. There's no nothing. If there's sun, I've got it. If it's dark, I got it. So I still don't see where this by itself is just a flaw. Now, don't get me wrong. These RMRs do have one weakness, and that is if you are in the dark looking out into the bright. That is the one weakness that these have. However, I still don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, if you would have told me 2 years ago, shoot an RMR with no sights, I would have said that you're absolutely silly, you're crazy, why would you do that? You need backup sights. And there was a couple of reasons for that. Number one, RMRs a couple of years ago were not as proven as they are now. Everyone knows you can take an RMR to war and you're going to be okay as long as you do your part, it will do its. So the RMR is now what I would consider war proven. So it is the bee's knees. Okay. The other thing I would have thought you needed sights for is the battery. Your battery could go dead. It could go dead in the middle of blah, blah, blah. Maybe you forgot to change it that one time a year you're supposed to change it, whatever. So I was like, okay, now they've got them that don't require batteries. So that knocks that one out. Lastly was, okay, you say the electronics fail, something happens mechanically to it and you need it. You've changed your battery, you've dropped it, whatever. At least you have your sights to go off of. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then I went to Chris Costa's handgun class, and I watched him shoot with no sights out to 35 yards with a pistol and was combat effective. And then we went and we started close and we worked our way back and we were combat effective. And I was like, well, son of a gun, as long as you've got a good presentation and you're used to that good presentation, you're going to be combat effective with or without the sights. So I decided to go without. Now everyone's still going to be, oh my God, you're going to die, you're going to die. What happens if you get mud in here and you can't see? The same thing that would happen to you if you got mud in yours and you couldn't see. You're not going to be able to see your sights. If this is filled with mud, you're not going to see your sight if you have it in front. You're not going to see your sight if you have it in back. You're going to be doing the same thing, going, okay, right there, I'm hoping, bang. It's the same thing. So all I'm doing is what I believe, eliminating parts that I don't need, parts that might fail. And I'll show you, I can shoot this with the dot blocked. Take and put your little piece of tape right there, block the emitter, and all you've got is glass. I'll show you that you can shoot these and can be combat effective with no sights as long as you've got a good presentation. As long as you've got a good presentation, a good trigger squeeze, a good grip, you're going to make those shots. Okay, as you can see, I've got the ground marked. I actually used tape measure, got distances. We'll start at 3, 5, 7. There's a 10, 12, 15. And I'll show you how you can hit without any sights. I'm gonna see if I can get the RMR in place to where you can see that I do have, let's see. Okay, you can see the dot right there. All right. Take a piece of tape. I've covered the emitter. There's now no dot, no nothing. You can't see anything. All right, there's the 3-yard line. See, I still got the tape on. I'm shooting my reloads. Some of these reloads this gun doesn't like. If you see a malfunction, it is ammo related. It is not gun related. None of the stuff I've done to the gun has changed the reliability. So, totally covered. Gonna go for the chest. 3 yards. Now we're gonna go to 5. I threw one a little high, still combat effective. Okay, so that was at 5. Now we're going to 7. Okay, 7. Little high, but still combat effective. We're at 10. This is usually where I start felling at, is about the 10 and back. I can usually still kind of keep them in the body, but I'm all over the place from this distance. See, I'm pulling them now. Like I said, that's about my failure point. I still hit a lung and possibly made it to where his arm doesn't work. Here we are at 12. I still pulled them, but not as bad. Still combat effective. There's nothing in the black. Now I'm going to go back to 15. Usually I don't hit very many from 15. 15 yards. To me, this is probably pushing self-defense where I would want to be taking these shots anyway, even with the sight. Anything over 15, I mean, am I really in danger? I don't know. That would be a possibility of a court case, so I would take the shot if I had to for my life to depend on it, but I would not be confident taking this shot in a self-defense scenario unless I was 100% sure. 15 feet or 15 yards is quite a distance. All right, let's see. Usually when I miss, I'll miss to the left and high. So if I miss, it'll probably be right over his shoulder. All right. Oh, I pulled that one to the right. Took out an arm. Still relatively combat effective. I mean, he can't use that arm anymore. There's nothing in the black. That was at 15. We will go back to 17. 12. 15. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a 17, I have an 18. Ignore all of this trash. People who come out here break glass and tear shit up. I always try to clean up before I leave. So just ignore the trash. We are at 18 yards. And you can see you're really kind of pushing the distance here, especially for me, especially for no sight. And just so you can see, I'm not playing. I've still got it all taped. All right. I think I pulled that first one and possibly the second one. It's hard to tell for me at this distance. Okay, I've got one way down in the abdomen. Still nothing in the paper. I'm not for sure where the other one went. We'll go ahead and go back. I think my next one is at 20. Hell, let's just go to 25. 25 yards, no sights. Let's see what it does. See, there's 20, 25. Again, ignore all the trash. You can see people just trash this place. It's ridiculous. If you're one of the people who come out here and you put trash down, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. So, gonna be aiming 25 yards, still taped up, no sights. That was that ammo I was telling you about. So 25, there's 20, 18, 15, 12, 10, 7, 5, and 3. And from 25, I put one in his head and I threw one. I had to get all the way back to 25 yards to not hit the body. I would say that's combat effective without sights. So anyway, that was what I'm out doing today. I will also throw this caveat out there. My sight is zeroed to my carry ammo. My carry ammo is 147 grain HSTs. I zero to that. So the reloads I'm going to be shooting and practicing with today will not be the exact point of aim, point of impact that my normal rounds are. That is something that you need to think about if you're ever going to use an optic. It's the same as if you're shooting a rifle with the scope. It's the same as if you're shooting your rifle with the red dot. You need to shoot your carry ammo and zero to your carry ammo. If I zeroed to my cheap reloads and then put my HSTs in here, there's going to be a shift. My cheap reloads are not as powerful. They're a lighter weight bullet. They're going to hit different. So you'll see me today when I'm shooting at bullseye. It'll be kind of close, but it's not going to be exactly. And it'll get worse the further back I get. So this is what I was out here to talk about today. My Glock 34 build for my new EDC gun. Now, everyone's like, whoa, wait a minute, you just had a video a couple of weeks ago where you were talking about the 19 as your EDC gun, and that is true. The 19 was my EDC gun, but I went ahead and I switched it up. And I switched it up for a gun that I like better, that I shoot better, that I think is just an awesome gun. I am still running the same holster. All I did was I opened up the end a little bit and that was it. 34 fits in. Now you can see just exactly how much I had to trim off of there to make it work. And you're like, oh my gosh, the 34 is so much bigger than the 19. Why would you do that? Well, I want you to look at something. Right here is the exact same end where my light ended. It is just slightly longer than the light. So I am not really carrying, even though the gun is longer, due to the light that I carried, it is not much longer. It is just minimally a little bit longer overall. So I think that for carry, it's kind of a moot point because the light was taking up the same amount of room. All that's different is I've got a little bit of barrel sticking out further than I did before. So anyway, yeah, I really like it. I think it works great. It fits my hand good with the modifications I made. I am just shooting some cheap range mags today. I've got my carry mags loaded up and I didn't want to unload them, so just shooting cheap Magpul, PMag. I know they're not great. They're not my go-to-war stuff. These are not my carry mags. These are just range mags. Still rocking the T-Rex Arms holster. And then on my battle belt, war belt, whatever belt you want to call it, we were talking about the other day in one of my other videos where I told you you're carrying too much shit. Well, you're still carrying too much shit, and you can see mine is still the exact same. The only difference is I've upgraded my holster. I went with the Safari Land. I've got the triple retention on it. The reason for that is if for some reason I ever decide to open carry, which is legal in Arkansas, but I don't really care to do it. But if I ever do, or if I ever need to, I have now got the retention needed to keep someone from coming up and taking my gun from behind. If you're going to open carry, you must have retention. You must have retention. I got the RDS model, so it helps protect my RMR. Comes out, boom, goes in, lock it back. We'll do some draws from this. I'm still new at this, so I occasionally still fumble and fart around with it because I am new with it, but that's why you practice, that's why you train. So anyway, let's do some shooting. Going to be practicing some draws from the new holster. I'm not super fast with this, so it is what it is. I need to work with it. So you're going to see some pretty rough draws. Sometimes I don't always unengage the all of the safeties on the holster. Sometimes I don't unengage all of them. You'll see me yank and I'll pull my whole damn pants up. It's just the nature of the beast. That's why I'm out here. I'm training. I'm trying to make myself better. Trying to become harder to kill. .167 right between the eyes. Dang it. I keep missing. I keep hitting my thumb right there. I'm not coming down and dodging. That's why it's called training. A 157 headshot. I just need more practice with it. Just gonna take time getting used to coming back and clearing this, pushing down and releasing. But nature of the beast. Do something new, you gotta train it, gotta learn it. Last drill for the day on my pistol will be seeing how tight of a group I can shoot on his nose. And I'll be doing it from the 5-yard line, right there. It's actually gonna be a hair over 5, but close enough. So, slow fire. Let's see how tight of a group I can make on his nose. This gun does not like my reloads. Okay. So, not great shooting, but like I said, it's not exactly zeroed for that round. Plus, they're just cheap reloads. So, the Glock 34 custom by me and Jaeger Works. Awesome gun. Absolutely love it. This is my new everyday carry. Thing just fits great. I shoot it well, I believe. I still need more practice, always need more practice, but damn, ammo has been a killer on trying to get out here. Between weather and ammo, it's hard to get shooting in. It really is. But anyway, Glock 34 custom by me and Jaeger Works. I love it. I have the video on Patreon. It's for Patreon members only on how I did the framework. If you join Patreon, it's $1 a month. There's a 20-minute video of me doing everything on here step by step, showing you how to chop a Glock if you want to. That's one of the perks of being a Patreon member. You get exclusive content that no one else does. Plus, we have a Discord server. We're always on there talking with each other, visiting, having a good time, talking about everything from guns to camping to books to body armor. And it's a one-on-one interaction. We all get along. It's a lot of fun. Thank you to the guys that are my Patreon members. I honestly couldn't do it without you guys. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you. Please join, click, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.